My hair is a mess. Oh my gosh. What happened? Hello. Are you okay? Hey Spuds, how's it going? It's Jamie. Welcome back to another video, your first video on the channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. I'm very glad to have you here. And today, we're starting a brand new series on the channel. Not done this before. No idea if you're gonna enjoy it. No idea if I'm gonna enjoy making it. But we're gonna give it a go, because I think if it works, it might be cool. I always get nervous starting new things in case you hate it, and in case I hate it. But we're gonna try. And just as a reminder, I do now have channel memberships on this channel. Becoming a channel member supports the channel. You can become a member of the Spud Squad and get access to extra content like monthly live streams. So if you want to go check that out, you can, but there is absolutely no pressure to do so. Trans education is so important, right? But so lacking still. Although I am very happy to see that out there on the internet, there is significantly more positive and good trans education and representation than there was, say, 10 years ago when I was first transitioning. So sometimes it is great, other times it's not so great. And sometimes that's because it's coming from a negative angle, so it's deliberately not good, and other times this video that's doing trans education has the absolute best of intentions, but they've maybe just not consulted trans people. That's the vibe they give off. So what this new series is going to be, or it plans on being, is I'm going to watch a bunch of trans education videos. Negative, positive, neutral, whatever. I'm not really going to know the intention of the video before I find it. I'm not going to seek out specific types. I'm just looking for trans education themed videos coming from all kinds of perspectives. And yeah, as a trans person, I'm gonna watch them and react to them. This is the first one in this series, and it's a cute little animation called What is Transgender? Simply Explained.
We explain gender and what it means to be transgender.
Wow, that is a deep voice. I could never.
Meet Kayla.
Hi, Kayla.
Her friend Adam recently came out as transgender, but she's unsure what that means.
I'm already gonna pause it and just say, personally, I'm curious about her friend's identity. So they said like, here's Adam and use male pronouns. He's just come out as transgender, but as like a trans woman and they're therefore misgendering them, or as a trans guy and they've already changed their name and pronouns socially. I don't know. Sounds very nitpicky, but like I would just like to know, and I'm hoping that Adam is a trans man.
Adam, happy to explain, lets her know that first she must recognize the difference between gender and sex in order to comprehend what it means to be transgender. Kayla is confused because she thought gender and sex were the same thing.
Kayla, it's alright. That's a really common misunderstanding. Also a very common thing that transphobes say. I'm not saying Kayla is a transphobe. It just seems to be like one of the biggest problems for people who either accidentally don't understand what being trans means or deliberately are being transphobic and being like, sex and gender are the same thing. Ha ha ha. So I'm very glad personally that like early on, they are already making this distinction. That is like good. Yay, well done.
But Adam informs her that they are very different. Sex is what everyone is biologically born as, male, female, or in some cases, intersex.
Nice. Not for getting intersex people, but they are wiping it away already, which I'm assuming means they are done explaining the distinction between sex and gender, and I maybe would have taken it a little deeper, even for a simple explanation. Personally, I don't know.
In contrast, gender, which is separate from sexual orientation, is how we express masculinity and femininity.
Oh no. No, that's gender expression. No. And your gender expression is also separate from your gender identity, but I will let this bit finish before I talk about it fully. Maybe they correct it.
Think of a linear scale with femininity on one side and masculinity on the other. Instead of emoting one or the other based on sex, people can move throughout the gender scale freely and express various degrees of both at will, despite their biological anatomy.
Oh, that's all they seem to be going to say about gender as a definition. And it was just completely wrong. They defined gender expression quite well. They did an okay job at defining gender expression, but it does need to go hand in hand with like saying that your expression is not linked to your identity, and the two can be very different for what you would expect, or they can converge for what people would typically expect. And the reason why it's wrong is it makes it seem like your presentation of masculinity or femininity impacts your identity when it doesn't. Gender identity is actually exactly what it sounds like. It's how you identify in terms of your gender. It is the gender that you know you are, and this gender can be different or the same as your assigned biological sex.
Since Kayla's sex and gender identity match, she is considered cisgender. However, transgender people have a gender identity that doesn't match their assigned sex at birth.
Yes, very good, correct. And I love that they're using the term like assigned sex at birth.
In Adam's case, he identifies as a trans man,
Good.
even though his assigned sex was female.
Okay. I got very excited because they confirmed that Adam was a trans man, which is what I was hoping they were going to do. But weird graphic. Personally, I kind of get why they did it for the visuals, but it's not comfortable. Something about it makes me uncomfortable personally. Let me know your feelings on it in the comments. I feel like just saying it is clear enough without the visual of like stripping away a trans person's clothing to like show what's underneath. I know there were no bad intentions meant by it, it's just making me feel uncomfortable.
Excited to learn more, Kayla wonders, is transgender a third gender? No. Adam reveals that it is an umbrella term that can be used for someone who identifies with the opposite sex, such as Adam, or it can refer to other various genders that aren't exclusively masculine or feminine.
Okay, cool. It's doing like an alright job everywhere else except this whole like masculine, feminine gender thing, and I don't know if it's maybe just a language decision that doesn't translate for me, who is British, potentially. Because like binary genders of man and woman are not called masculine and feminine, that's the presentation terms. Yeah, that's where this video is falling down for me personally.
This includes bigender, people who identify with two genders, pangender, people who identify with all genders, and even agender, people who are genderless.
Genderless, so they put something over like the crotch area. Interesting choice. I do appreciate how inclusive they're being. I personally am not even 100% sure on all the definitions of those identities, so I hope they got them correct, but I appreciate the inclusivity that they're going for here, and they're not just being like binary trans people, and they even mentioned intersex people.
Ultimately, people can choose from many terms and definitions they think represents their gender identity and also matches their self-expression. With so many different genders, Kayla is uncertain what pronouns she should use. Adam clarifies that it depends on each person's preference. If unsure, there is nothing wrong with asking. Still curious, Kayla wants to know, do all transgender people automatically get hormone therapy and gender reassignment surgery? Adam explains that being transgender does not rely on a physical change.
Yes, not all trans people take physical steps in their transition, and that's something that's really important to include in trans education.
It's about identifying and expressing oneself based on how they feel.
It doesn't have to come down to expressing. Identity is what matters at the core of your gender. That is it. You can express yourself however you want to. So like a man who wants to express himself in like a stereotypically feminine way and wear dresses and makeup is still a man. It doesn't impact his identity.
If they do seek medical assistance to transition, then they would be called transsexual.
That to me is like an old-fashioned term now. It's not something I hear used very much. I don't know a single trans person who would describe themselves as a transsexual just because they've taken medical steps, or as a transsexual full stop. I believe that transgender is now the widely accepted, all-encompassing term.
Additionally, Adam tells Kayla that he wants to educate the public about what it means to be transgender in order to fight the consistent discrimination they face. Transgender people have come a long way on the path to acceptance. However, they still have a difficult journey ahead.
Go Adam being a little trans activist, and I appreciate this video bringing up the point that like it's still hard within society to be trans. There is still a way to go for trans rights and trans inclusion.
They must find the strength and confidence to embrace who they are while combating social stigma that can even influence friends and family. Kayla now understands that being transgender doesn't follow the current status quo, but that's okay. She plans to educate her friends and family to help spread awareness.
Yeah, go Kayla being a trans ally. I love it. We love Kayla. And that's it. That was the first video. So overall, it wasn't terrible. And overall, it definitely felt like it was coming from a place of good intentions. But did it hit every mark? No. I pointed out most of them during the video, but let's have a little chat about some of the main bits where it just wasn't quite perfect. Some positive notes: it was respectful, it was inclusive, it had very adorable little animations, and it was overall a trans-positive, trans-inclusive message. But now on to the bad. I'm afraid we have to discuss that. I'm sorry. I feel very bad, and I might sound incredibly nitpicky, but I think it's just important to really point out where a lot of the shortcomings happen with trans education. So obviously the whole definition of gender identity needs a little bit of work. It kind of actually just needs completely redoing. All they need to do is label that one as gender expression, pretty much, and then do a new one for gender identity. It could easily be a language thing, but it is just that definition, whether it was down to language or just an incorrect definition being given, that was the main failing of this video, and took it from being pretty decent and helpful to potentially causing confusion and just people given the wrong information. Related to this though, I think it maybe would have been better to have the graphic that was representing gender to be something like a brain, because we often discuss gender in terms of being in your brain and your assigned biological sex is your body, rather than this hybrid toilet door sign thing they had going on. Because again, gender is not about what you wear or how you look, it's about how you identify and who you are as a person, which is in here. I also really did not like the bit where they displayed that the trans guy, Adam, had been assigned female at birth. Just the whole visual representation of that was something that, as a trans man, made me feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm sure they had no bad intentions. I understand why they went for that, but just that's where I'm coming from personally. Just caused discomfort to me. Anyway, in conclusions, there wasn't a massive amount wrong with this. It was just one major thing and then a couple little bits. 80% correct in execution, 100% felt positive on the intentions. I'm really probably not the worst video to watch if somebody just wanted to learn a bit more, but it's just that definition about gender. So yeah, that's it. That's how I feel about this video. That's that video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Where do you think it was good? Where did you think it fell short? Was there anything that I missed? Think about giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. And also consider clicking that join button to become a channel member if you want to, but again, absolutely no pressure. As always, I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.